Can I use my aquarium for aquaponics? This is more when we're using our indoor freshwater aquarium and wanting to grow some food out of it. So we don't have to do water exchanges and, you know, looks good. Yes, you can. But have a look at the video and understand the difference between your backyard aquaponics, and this is just a little barrel system, bigger ones over there, and an indoor aquarium that you're converting into an aquaponics system, because there is a difference. There is a huge difference actually, because our backyard systems, you know, we're designing that and we're setting it up with everything based on being able to grow as much food as possible. Whereas our indoor aquarium, we're both based, oh my god, we're basing it more on our established fish tank and needing to reduce the water exchanges and look after the fish. So it is a bit different. So have a look at the video. It's a long video, but I'm going to go through and show you all of the examples as to which tank would be suitable and which tank isn't suitable, but why. That's the key thing. How you can make it work wherever you are, but what you need to know about it. It is very simple and you can easily do it, but you need to be aware of a couple of things. Indoor aquaponics is different to our external outside ones. Just as good though. You just need to understand a couple of things. So jump in, have a look and get going. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm putting videos up every couple of days, so make sure that you hit subscribe so you can get all of them. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about indoor aquarium aquaponics. So this is a bit different to just building a aquaponic system indoors. We're actually talking about converting our freshwater aquariums into an aquaponic system. And it is different, not completely different, but it is different to our normal aquaponic systems where our actual focus is to grow enough vegetables and therefore we get the relationship and the balance with our fish. So hopefully you've gone through some of the other videos and you've worked out what aquaponics is. It's the relationship and the growing harmoniously between fish and vegetables, where the fish provide the fertiliser for the vegetables and the vegetables filter the water for the fish, and it's the nitrifying bacteria that actually converts that fish waste, or the ammonia, into nitrate, which is the fertiliser that our veggies use. And this little system, it's a barrel system and it's being powered by some goldfish, and it's doing awesome. Okay, it's doing great. But this system was built specifically to be able to grow enough vegetables. So I've got more fish in my barrel aquaponic system than what I do in my aquariums. And that's what I wanted to talk about, the difference. So I've identified in other videos, and again today, this is an ecosystem. So we have the fish, and we have the veggies, and we have the bacteria, and they're all working together. Now if you have freshwater aquariums, you should hopefully understand your water chemistry and that you need to have nitrifying bacteria to convert the fish waste, which is ammonia, into nitrite and then nitrate. And nitrate is the less toxic version out of all of this, but this is why we need to do water exchanges. Every week or every couple of weeks we do a water exchange to remove that nitrate out of the system so it doesn't get too high or too toxic for the fish. But without this bacteria process, so the nitrification cycle happening, the ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, without that happening, we just have ammonia in the water, and that's very toxic for the fish. So hopefully if you have an indoor aquarium, you understand this already. And just as that bit of a warning, because I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I don't test my freshwater aquarium water quality tests. This nitrification process causes your pH to drop. So it will naturally drop. So therefore you need to actually do something about that. You need to be checking your pH, otherwise it will drop. Your fish could be swimming in acidic water, and that will affect their gills, their eyes, and eventually all of their internal organs, and they will end up burning and getting quite sick eventually. They can learn to live and tolerate in a toxic environment, but their immune system's really weak. So it's very easy for them to get sick. So just a side note on that one. So when we're thinking about aquaponics indoors, generally we have our aquarium, whether it's a small or a bigger or a bloody bigger one, and we generally have a small number of fish in there, and you have your filter, so you have separate filter, whether it's internal or external, and that's where the bacteria live, and it converts all of that ammonia into nitrite and nitrate. That's your normal fish tank, where you have your lights on it, or whether it's you've got plants in it or whatever. There are so many variables within our aquariums, and that's what makes them so awesome. But it doesn't have as many fish as our aquaponics system. This is more, I don't want to say farming, because farming means we're really cramming fish in, but we are doing aquaponics gardening, so we do have more fish in a safe way, and this is where you check out how many fish can I have in my aquaponics system in the video. Hopefully it's coming up on the link now. How many fish can I have in my aquaponics system? And that's talking about an aquaponics system, but for aquariums it is totally different. We've got to make sure we've got enough filtration, but not just the filtration. There's no point of us putting vegetables or seedlings above our aquariums if we don't have enough fish in there producing enough nitrate. So this is very common, especially when we see so many things photoshopped these days on Amazon and online, of people who understand fish, vegetables. Okay, here's a little unit we can sell, and they show you a whole heap of PVC piping and some little nets that you put in the PVC piping, and you see all of these vegetables growing. And you go, that's awesome, that's what I want to do with on top of my aquarium. But the people who have been building it, designing it, if that's what they're actually designing it and they've tested it, then they've tested it wrong. It does not work that way. It is not, I grow this amount of vegetables based on this amount of water, or I can have this amount of fish based on this amount of water. It does not work that way. Okay, especially for our indoor aquariums. We set that up as a nice little ecosystem that's really cool to look at, and hopefully you're not overcrowding your fish, and hopefully you've got a good enough filter, and your filter should be running through, all of that water should be running through your filter about 5 times per hour. This aquaponic system, outside aquaponic systems, are generally 2 to 3 times per hour. There is a huge difference, but we have a bigger filter, whereas in our aquariums inside, we have smaller filters. So it has to run through an awful lot more. That's the difference between flow rates there. So I want to take you inside and show you 2 of my aquariums, just to show you how things are working. One of them is set up with a little bit of aquaponics on top, just a very simple setup. And another one that does not have a setup at all, and I have done a water exchange 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to show you my water quality, but I wanted to show you the difference so that you can get that visual understanding that it's not just about how many litres and that it should work. Okay, because it seems to be there's a misconception that I have lots of water, fish are in ponds, fish are in lakes, fish are in rivers, lots of waters, therefore we can grow lots of stuff. It doesn't work that way. In nature they have a beautiful carrying capacity, so fish are not always living together. They spread out across the river, across the lake, across the pond. They're not all in one area. And it's a totally different type of ecosystem than a man-made ecosystem where we're needing to make sure we are balancing everything. Nature does that itself. When we've made a man-made ecosystem, we have to make sure the balance is there. That is our responsibility for making an ecosystem. So I'm going to take you inside and show you 2 of the options, and just give you an understanding that there is a difference between aquarium aquaponics and your bigger aquaponic systems here. And I've got another bigger one over there. But that's outside, and it's been designed specifically. Lots of fish in a balanced way, and not too many fish that I'm going to overwhelm my system, or that they're not happy where they are. Remember, fish health is really important, so is their welfare. We need to make sure they're happy and everything's going accordingly. Okay, so let's go inside and have a look. Alright, so here we are inside with my turtle tank. I've got 2 turtles in here and approximately 100 litres of water. Now what you can see, I've got my little internal filter over on this side. It's just one of those little internal filters, really. And I have a separate pump that takes water up into a PVC pipe, and it flows across, and you can see I've got some oregano on here, and it flows out and then drops down into the water. Very, very simple. This is what we call a nutrient film technique system. And why do I only have 1 oregano plant? Well, this is where we talk about the water quality. I've got lots of water, but it's winter, so my turtles don't eat as much anyway, and they're sticking their heads up at the back. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see them. It's winter, so they don't eat as much, but turtles don't produce as much ammonia as fish because fish are producing ammonia from their gills and their urine. Turtles, it's only from their poop. And we need to collect up all of their solid waste anyway. But that's totally different. They also breathe the air as opposed to fish that get their oxygen from the water. So it's a totally different system. But what we do is we're basing how many plants I can grow based on our water quality. So this is where we have the master test kits that show our pH, the ammonia, nitrite and nitrate. And hopefully if you have freshwater aquariums, you do check this and know what I'm talking about. So I tested, and I haven't done a water exchange for months on this tank, but I have had to adjust the pH. But if we look at the ammonia, we see that there's 0 ammonia. We see that there is, yeah, I'm going to go with 0 nitrite. Maybe a tinge, but I'm not worried about that. Okay, I did feed them last night, and I only feed these guys a couple of times a week as opposed to our fish, which is generally daily. Now, it's the nitrate is what we base how many plants I can have, because that's the balance, you know, that's the ratio that we're really looking at with how many plants. A lot of people go, hey, lots of fish, lots of plants, or lots of water, lots of plants. But if you don't have enough fertiliser, so the nitrate in your system, your plants aren't going to grow, because this is the only fertiliser they're going to get, and a little bit of iron. So we're looking at the nitrate on this side, and I have between 5 to 10 parts per million. So between these two. Ideally we want it to be between 10 and 40 parts per million. So we're wanting that, the nice red, we don't want it to go too dark, but we do want that nice bright red, and it's nowhere near that. So before, when it was a bit warmer, I did have some basil growing in here, and I was able to grow 3 lots of basil because they were eating a little bit more and they were producing more waste. But I had to base what I'm growing based on my nitrate. So this oregano plant, it's growing well. I know you probably can't see well with the light reflection here, but it is growing nicely. But there's not enough nitrate in the system for me to have more than that one plant. And that's why an aquarium aquaponics system, we base what our aquarium is, and then how can we remove that nitrate from the system. So 3 months worth of not changing the water, that oregano plant is doing quite well, and my water quality is perfect. pH is where it needs to be, but I do need to adapt to that. But that's what we're needing to adjust for. Okay, so let's have a look at one of my other tanks, just to really drive home the water quality issue, because this is what we need to be balancing everything on, is our water quality parameters, not how many litres. Generally we need to be looking at our filtration and how many litres, but for an indoor aquarium, we're looking more at what our water quality is doing, so how much nitrate is within the system. Okay, so let's have a look at the other one and see. Alright, so this is my Murray cod. I love this guy. He's 10 years old, and he's 2.5 foot, possibly closer to 3. He is in a 500 litre tank. He's in there all by himself. He used to have a buddy, but the buddy died, and the buddy was a nil-tailed catfish net, but that was in a different tank as well. He's really happy. He can turn around, he can do everything he needs to do. He's got his little snag, he rearranges his tank as he needs it to be. He's not going to grow much bigger than that because of where he is and how he is, but he's a very happy, healthy fish. Now, I did a water exchange on his tank this week, and I only dropped it down, a small amount. I didn't do very much. But here's the thing. We're talking about how much water versus the fish versus the nitrate, right? So we have a 500 litre tank. We have a very heavy Murray cod who only eats a couple of times a week. Again, that's his choice. If I put extra food in it, he won't actually eat it. Don't think that all fish will guzzle food. They don't. Some do, absolutely, and some don't. He doesn't eat very much. He's an ambush predator, so he doesn't need a lot of energy, and he's quite content with how things are. So you were thinking 500 litres, Rupert, how many vegetables can I put on here? Because Candy's in the process of building aquaponics parts wherever she can because she hates doing water exchanges. Good reason to build an aquaponics system, especially indoors. I can take off this lid and put a very similar to what we had on the turtle tank on top of that. But before I even think about doing that, let's have a look at the water quality. So again, we're looking at the ammonia. This is what he produces, and that's at 0. Okay, excellent. I love having water quality showing up where it should be. The nitrite, so again, at 0. So I know at this point, because I have a little bit of nitrate present, I know that I've got both forms of nitrifying bacteria present because I have nitrate. If I did not have nitrate present at all, then I would be worried, do I have ammonia or nitrite within the system? Do I have both bacteria, nitrifying bacteria present within the system? And if you need to understand about cycling your system, check out that cycling your system video. But this system is very well and truly cycled a very long time ago. And I do actually check my water quality every week. I'm a bit pedantic about that, and I also like doing it. But here's the thing. Lots of water, one bloody big fish, and we have maybe 5 parts per million of nitrate again. Honestly, that is not enough for me to go, I want to put an aquaponic system on top of here. I want to grow vegetables on here. That's enough for me to say, yeah, I might pop an indoor plant in there, a water plant in there, and it might be okay. But it's not enough to be able to grow any veggies. And that's what we need to be looking at, is how much nitrate is within our system to know how many veggies or how much herbs we can grow. And it's simply not worth it in this case. For my turtle tank, in winter, I'm growing the oregano over there, and I'm quite content with that. In summer, they eat an awful lot more, and I don't, there's nothing wrong with them eating more, they just do, they're moving around and a bit warmer. So I can be going back to having, growing 3 or 4 basil plants in there fairly comfortably. Now his water quality does not change through summer, winter, or any of the other seasons. He's content with where things are at. He's a cold water fish, he's not going to eat any more during summer. And I know because I've had him for 10 years, so he's been doing the same thing for 10 years. It's just a matter of where. So yeah, just to recap, it's not indoor aquarium aquaponics, and this is totally different to our outdoor aquaponics, or totally different to an indoor aquaponics system that we've specifically designed to be an aquaponics system. This is our aquarium aquaponics. So just wanting to be really clear there. It's not based on how much water, it's not based on the size of your tank, it's based on the amount of nitrate within the system, okay, within your aquarium. And if there's 20 parts per million each week, yeah, chuck an aquaponics aspect on it. There are so many things you could do with indoor aquaponics, and I'll do another video showing some different ideas and options, but seriously, there are heaps of ways of doing it. That's just one way where I showed you the turtle tank. There are many, many options, but if you don't have enough nitrate within your system, they're not going to grow. So you can sit there and go, okay, well, I'll add more fish. Adding more fish means you have to ask the question, is my fish tank big enough? And is my filter big enough? So when we get our aquarium filters, it's based on the amount of litres in the aquarium. And when you hopefully you talk to the people you're buying the fish from, will this fish go with this fish, and how big is this fish going to get? And you ask all of those questions, and how many of that fish can I have? And you need to understand your relationship and your ratios there. Too many fish or the wrong type of fish definitely won't work. So they're all things that I'm hoping you've already covered. I'm assuming that you have if you've got an indoor aquarium, and we're understanding, can I do indoor aquaponics? So if you've got all your water quality working and you're checking it, if you have more than 10 parts per million nitrate within your aquarium, yeah, pop something in there and you'll be able to grow something. But unless you've got a lot of fish, you're not going to be able to grow a lot indoors in an aquarium-based aquaponic system, but you can grow some things. Some things are better than nothing, isn't it? So that's some information. Make sure you do ask your questions so I can answer them for you. Hopefully this has cleared up the whole indoor aquarium aquaponics question, because I know that there's a lot of people who are wanting to grow fish, have aquariums, have aquaponics over their aquariums, but they're wanting to have too many plants and they're not understanding the relationship between the nitrate and the plants, because they're seeing all of the images on the internet at the moment that are showing you, hey, you can grow this many plants. Remember, Photoshop, very common these days. This is the relationship. I'm showing you the water quality. I'm showing you the proof that it does not work. If I have more fish in there, different story, but this is where you base it on your water quality, not mine, for a start. So you need to understand your water quality, and then you can make a decision, will this be viable? Alright, ask your questions and let me know. Hey, just quickly, I thought I'd let you really disheartened there. So this is a 600 litre aquarium. I have my external filter over there. I also have an internal filter which is only to move the water around and pick up any solid waste. I also have, what do I have in here? I have 2 eel-tailed catfish, 2 sleepy cod, 4 silver perch and 1 golden perch, and they're all quite small, okay? So they're going to get bigger, and I can see them, they're all hiding because they're going, she's got the camera out. So I'm talking about making sure that whatever you do is based on your nitrate. I have not done a water change here in 2 weeks, and if we, silver perch has started to cross in front of us. Looking at the nitrate, it's showing that it's at 20 parts per million, so this one here. And that is a good level for us to be saying, I want to be able to put plants up top as an aquaponics thing. And I had been planning to without even looking at the water quality, just because I know that these guys are going to get bigger and I know where their water quality's been at because I've been checking it every week. But I wanted to show you, it doesn't have, nice big silver perch just came past, it doesn't have to be a big tank. It can be a small tank that has enough fish in it that's going to be producing the nitrate. So in the coming months, because I know these guys are going to get a lot bigger, this is my community tank, I will be putting what I've done with the turtle tank up on top, but a much bigger version, and I'll be able to grow a lot more of my herbs in here. I need to put a light on top of, like a growing light for the plants. But what I have to remember, and what you would need to remember if you're going to put something on top like that, because this is all glass, any growing light for plants is also going to filter through and hit the water in your fish tank. What that will do is start to grow algae, which you don't want in your aquarium, especially if you're wanting to grow plants, because the algae will use the nitrate. So I'll be putting a black layer of a layer of pond liner across the top just to keep it dark, and so that grow light doesn't actually come and affect the parameters in here. You can definitely do aquarium aquaponics. It's all based on your nitrate level, okay? On your nitrate level, not the size of the fish tank, not the size of, or not how many litres you have, but the amount of nitrate within your system. So I just wanted to end it on a positive note. You can definitely do this, and I will be doing, and I will be putting videos up as I'm doing it, because I'm putting a 3D backing on the back that my Murray cod had actually ripped off because this used to be his tank. So I'm putting the 3D backing back on, and then I'll be putting the aquaponic system up top. So I'll be posting videos of the stages of how I'm doing it and what I'm doing, because I need to move all of the fish out to do this and put them all back in. Big job, but it'll be worth it. It's going to look awesome. Alright, see you later.